Okay, it's time for another rendition of teams I'm most excited to watch for this upcoming season. Part of me wanted to wait on potential Dame, Harden, Siakam stuff, but then I got tired of waiting. So let's just do this. And we will start with the Washington Wizards. So I think it is out of respect for the Wiz that when I first saw them, I almost wanted to put them in B. Because the way I'm looking at it, it's kind of an endearing roster, right? Like Jordan Poole's going to shoot a million times, which some nights it's going to be great, some nights it's not. You're going to have like Tyus Jones, who's going to get more opportunity than ever. And I can't call myself the biggest Tyus Jones fan because I don't know the guy, but I've certainly got to be on some list if you were to make one. And then you get the potential of Koulibaly and, Corey Kispert and all that. Like it sounds very endearing. And then I kind of felt like a psychopath. So I think I'm going to put him in C, but it's like a very high C. Now let's go to Cleveland. So I'm pretty sure last year I actually had, going into last year, I think I had Cleveland in S tier because, they just made the Donovan Mitchell trade very exciting. We have now seen them lose in round one, and I do think that deflates it a little bit. I'd still want to put him in A because, you're getting another year of Evan Mobley. Garland and Mitchell are still two of the most entertaining dudes if you're a Max Strus fan, which, I think we can still put him in A tier. And I will probably spend another season obsessing over Evan Mobley's offense and what's the mid-range looking like, what are the post moves looking like and all that stuff. So that's how I'm feeling with Cleveland. I am going to put the Knicks right next to him, though. Apologies to Cavs fans here. Look, once the Knicks made the Josh Hart trade, they were one of the most entertaining teams in the league. So look, if you want offensive rebounding, if you want Jalen Brunson creating all types of shots for himself from especially within the three-point line, if you want the RJ Barrett experience, which for the most part was pretty positive towards the tail end of last season in the playoffs, on top of, I'm pretty sure I always have to say this, the best commentary crew in the business, when Mike Breen is there, because sometimes he's doing ESPN, of course. But Clyde Frazier, Mike Breen, the Knicks get a buff that a lot of teams don't because of those two. Anyway, we go to Indiana. Is it an A on the Pacers, or are we thinking high B? Like Halliburton, of course, just watching Halliburton make reads coming around screens. It's beautiful stuff. Now you're getting Jarris Walker, and listen, if you're a team defense guy, if you're look at him switch between the 3 and the 4 on this possession, Jarris Walker's going to just make many nights for you. And if you're a rim protection fan as well, him and Miles Turner, let's go, baby. You get Obi Toppin as well. I'm kind of talking myself into A tier for Indiana, as I'm doing this. It feels like I should put him in B, but also I got to remember, this is not a rank the best teams. Obviously, how good you are is going to dictate this in some capacity, but yeah, Indiana's kind of fun, especially if you have another season of Mathurin just letting it fly, pretty much. The Bucks. So, okay. This is a little bit of a tough one. I'm going to let him sit in B as I figure this out. Typically, I would go at the worst on A tier because it's just, watching Giannis is great. And, again, if you're a rim protection fan, hooray, Brook Lopez and drop defense. Get your popcorn ready, But the round one series to Miami did happen. Of course, within that, you can say, well, Giannis missed a couple games. Yeah, that matters, of course. It still feels wrong to not have Giannis in A of watchability. Obviously, they're still going to be really good. Middleton was looking better by the end of last season, and you also get Adrian Griffin and how he can shake up the offense. Which, okay, you know what? We're going to be mean right now because I got to swing this the other way. I'm putting the Bulls in D, all right? I like the players in the Bulls. I love seeing DeRozan in the mid-range game, Levine and his tough shot making and all that. I think Vooch is a little underappreciated. I can't do it. I can't. I'm going to end up doing it because it's the job, but I'm not exactly super hyped to watch the Bulls next season. Anyway, Nuggets S tier. That, do I need to explain this one? They play the most entertaining type of basketball you could play, and Jokic is just the most entertaining guy and all that stuff. We can move on. The Raptors. So last year, I think the Raptors were probably a C in watchability because it was just a lot of awkward, before they got Pirtle and they got more screen setting and their offense just made more, their everything made more sense once they got Pirtle and he was on the court. But after that, it was just man, there's not enough shooting and there's a lot of guys that are just trying to barrel their way to the basket, and Siakam, Scotty Barnes, and Anunoby don't totally click together. It was awkward all around, right? Now you got a new coach. There's the possibility of a Siakam trade that is in the air but has not happened just yet. If it's going to happen, I don't know. You're getting year 3 Scotty Barnes. I want to put him in B, so you know what? I'll put him in B. If anything, just so I can keep up the gimmick that Jakob Poeltl is my favorite player in the league, because of course he actually is. Maybe Grady Dick can single-handedly just give him a solid B spot. The Grizzlies. I feel like you could go anywhere with this one. So Ja's out for the first 25 games. They now feature my beloved Marcus Smart. Steven Adams setting screens and boxing guys out is weirdly pretty fun to watch. You got to be a psychopath, but that's just kind of a given if you're clicking on this video. You get some more Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson taking shots. It feels like a B right now. And I mean, like, if Ja was ready to go and there was just good vibes, it would probably be an A. But like right now, it just feels like a B. The Spurs. Does Wemby just put him in S tier? I think it is. Like, this is mine. Who am I most looking forward to watching? And like, yeah, I want to watch almost every game from Wembanyama that I can. I do also want to see where Jeremy Sohan's offense gets to. His rookie season, they gave him more like playmaking opportunities, and I want to see what that looks like. And it's Wemby, okay? Shout out to Devin Vassell. Like, he's going to take jump shots. We love him for that. We'll see if they have Wemby and Zach Collins on the court together. It's Wemby. Wemby gets him to S tier. The Pistons, it's got to be B. Like, their guys are exciting. Like, I really want to see how Asar can be this connective guy between like Ivy and Cade and the balance of Asar getting ball handling duties and stuff like that. And Duran, who, I mean, I already praised Duran not just for his dunking stuff, but for his like agile finishes around the basket. And if he's got to put the ball on the floor and do something, like it all looks pretty good and promising. They also have like a million big guys, and we'll see between Isaiah Stewart and Wiseman and Bagley and the whole thing. Bogdanovich might get traded. I feel like there's still like not totally enough shooting on the roster, if I'm being brutally honest. And yes, I know they added Joe Harris. It feels like a B right now. Like, I really do want to see Cade healthy with actual talent around him for longer than like a 15-game stretch or whatever it was last season, because I do think Cade can run an offense really well. All right, now we got the Utah Jazz. I'm going to put him in B as I talk about this. I had a very stupid tweet today where I was like, I wonder if Will Hardy will play a lineup of John Collins, Lowry Markkanen, Walker Kessler, Taylor Hendricks, and Kelly Olynyk, because he could do that. And for what it's worth, he did play Kessler, Markkanen, and Olynyk together a lot last season. I do want to see how many minutes and how many shot attempts like Keontae George can get right away. I think that could be a swing thing for me, because besides that, like, I mean, there's a lot of things to like here. Markkanen and all of his cool like corner actions that they run off the ball for him, and Walker Kessler in drop coverage, because of course that's the real entertaining thing here. But also, you can't sleep on Jordan Clarkson just shooting pull-up threes. Like, there is something pretty fun about Jordan Clarkson just going off. We'll go with a B. Now we get to Phoenix. Does Phoenix go to S tier? I mean, we're talking about intrigue. I mean, it's, you know, now a full season or full off season's worth of preparation with KD and Book, and now it's Bradley Beal and like a group of decent role players. For whatever reason, I want to go A on the Suns. I don't know. The excitement of Wemby and just the style of basketball the Nuggets play, like, it feels like the Suns are just a touch below in terms of how much I want to watch them next season. Obviously, it's still a lot. I got them in A tier. But I think my one concern with Phoenix is just like how layered their offense is going to be outside of like ISOs, pick and rolls, and very simple actions. Like, now, I mean, they got three very talented guys. Like, that's the luxury of running that type of offense. But in terms of like watchability, when I'm comparing it to the Nuggets and all the cuts and everything around Jokic's post-ups, it doesn't hit exactly the same. I mean, the Suns are obviously going to be better than the Spurs. So the Kings were one of the most entertaining teams last season. They basically have the same roster going into this season, with the caveat of Keegan Murray's probably going to shoot the ball more. The Fox-Sabonis two-man game was like just awesome to watch. You know, handoffs, fake handoff actions, the screen setting, and all of it. I kind of want to put the Kings in A. Like, it's really fun to just watch the Kings, especially because you're going to get your De'Aaron Fox never missing free throw line jumper stuff. The Miami Heat. The Heat have caused me so much hurt as a Celtics fan. And so there is a bit of trauma in watching Miami. But like, you have to appreciate Jimmy and Bam at all times. As of me doing this video, they have not traded for Dame. So, okay. Whatever happens there, all right. They have lost Strus and Vincent. Spoelstra's still a genius. And of course, that playoff run was amazing. At the same time, like, last regular season was not a fun watch. And so it depends. I mean, if I could look into a crystal ball and it's like, oh, they carried over the playoff energy, then we're going A. If it's a repeat of last regular season, we're going down to C. I guess based on that, I can split the difference at B. This isn't a season prediction. This is a who am I most excited to watch in the regular season. So I guess it's B. Of course, listen, if they trade for Dame, then like, you know, put them up here. The Thunder, they're going today. I think that they just got all the makings of what you'd want to watch. You know, young team. SGA is one of the best dudes in the league. Everything Chet's going to give him with defense and just the way he can play off of SGA and Giddey and J-Dub and J-Dub's growth in year two and all that, getting him more opportunities on the ball. You also get Isaiah Joe just hoisting it from anywhere. Of course, the real juice is when Kenrich Williams sets a screen for like Josh Giddey, Lou Dort being a madman on defense. I think it's a good time. The Warriors, so the Chris Paul trade definitely gives them a little bit of a boost here. Just, you know, the intrigue of seeing it. And I mean, I know Chris Paul's doing this whole like, wait a minute, I'm going to come off the bench. Yes, Chris, you're going to come off the bench. I'm sorry to tell you this. Unless he doesn't, in which case I'm going to be the dumb one on this one. But obviously their style of play is very fun. It's all the off-ball movement. And I mean, Steph by himself makes any game very watchable. So based off of Steph alone, like it feels right to have him in A. Last regular season though, man, when you think about like just the home road stuff, where like on the road, their defense was just way worse. And it was like, what the hell's going on here? Is that going to be a repeat? I don't know. Like it feels right to still have him in A because of Steph and the style of play. And also you can have your like, well, no, how's Jonathan Kuminga progressing? Because I do think this is like kind of a crucial year for Kuminga. Okay, now the Lakers. I'm pretty sure I said this in the last year's one where I was like, there's something about when it's the last game of the day on League Pass and it's the Lakers versus whoever. And it's a close game and like everybody on Twitter is just watching this one game. I mean, I guess this can happen for like the Warriors as well, but it feels like it's really happening with the Lakers the most. And it's just kind of fun to be in that moment when you add to that the fact that, I mean, we all saw it. Once the trade deadline happened, they were just awesome. I mean, Anthony Davis's rim protection, Austin Reeves getting more on the ball, the watchability that just is inherently there with LeBron. And I mean, you can go look up, you can just go take a swing at like Skip Bayless's Twitter during any random Laker game and just get a Skip Bayless LeBron take into your life, which, you know, if that's how you want to live it, then go for it. And you also get to see Gabe Vincent fighting around screens now. So, you know what, that's a good time, right? Now we go to the Nets. Like a B feels pretty good. Like, listen, if you want Mikal Bridges pull-up twos in your life, with which it felt like he didn't miss any once they did the trade, then you got that going for you. You're going to get the random Cam Thomas just going crazy game. You get the Nick Claxton switching on defense stuff. If you're a real sicko, you can watch like Dorian Finney-Smith go 3 for 7 from 3 and just like, yeah, this is my life and I love it. Okay, now let's get to Dallas. I could picture people disagreeing with this. I'm actually at an A for looking forward to watching Dallas this year. Because, like, it's Luka and Kyrie. I mean, with those two on the court, like, yeah, there were things about, well, did they have enough of a connectivity on offense between them? And is the defense good? Which the defense was not very good. But even so, the offensive numbers were amazing. And, like, I love Grant Williams. And, I mean, Omax and Lively project well defensively and probably pretty early on. As far as the other parts of their game, we'll see. Which, you know, I've seen some people predict, like, are we sure Dallas will even make the playoffs? And I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure their offense is going to be amazing, at least. Is it premature to have the Magic in A? I mean, for what it's worth, once Fultz was getting minutes for them, they were just, like, legitimately a good team last season. You're going to get Paolo shooting 9 million free throws a game. You're going to get Franz just being an overall good offensive player, whether it's on the ball or off the ball. You're getting the intrigue of Anthony Black. Like, it feels like it's a B for Orlando, just being excited to watch them. But I can picture a world in which they do jump up to A. And, you know, some of this is going to be like, yo, man, have you seen Anthony Black's help defense? Have you seen, like, the passes that he's making to the corner off of screens and all that? Because, of course, I'm having these conversations in my actual life. But for right now, we're going to have them at a B. The Pelicans are the most C or B team on this thing because it's just like, it's all about the health, man. If Zion and Ingram and CJ play more than like 6 games together, that's probably not exactly what it was, but you get what I'm saying, then like, yeah, they're A or potentially S tier because Zion is just a one-man, like, oh my god, this is insane show. I don't know, put it at a B and hope for the best. I do love Brandon Ingram mid-range jumpers though, and I definitely love Trey Murphy figuring out that, oh wait a minute, I actually am that dude. And there is something fun about Valanciunas, just his game, you know, just the bully ball at center. I don't have enough teams at the bottom right now, so I kind of want to put the Clippers in C, because at this point, it's like, look, I like the KJ Martin pickup, Terrence Mann, Norm Powell's downhill driving and all that. All of it's great. It's just so much of it is about Kawhi and PG's health that it's like, it's always in the back of my mind whenever I want to have a Clipper game on. Like, you remember that deflating feeling you had in round 1 where they were facing the Suns and they were doing a good job, and it's like Kawhi's just out for whatever game this is. And I'm not blaming Kawhi. Like, he's, you know, we all know that he's got like the ongoing lower body stuff. But it's just, man, it's just so embedded to this team at this point. It just doesn't feel right putting him higher than a C. Okay, Charlotte. What are we thinking? We thinking B? LaMelo's fun, man. I mean, he's also going to sometimes take like some floaters that are like 2 feet farther than you should probably take a floater. And he's going to take some crazy threes that you're sometimes scratching your head on. Other times he makes them. But of course, he's going to make every single pass possible. He's also going to have some like crazy looking scoop shots and full court passes and whatever else. And then you got Brandon Miller. I mean, getting the second pick, you know, that definitely got to give you a buffer in some case. Although outside of those two, like is PJ Washington moving the needle for you if it's like a Thursday on League Pass? I don't know. I'll keep him at a B. Okay, now we get Houston. I feel like the Rockets have done enough to get him into B tier of me wanting to watch him this upcoming season, right? Look, Fred is going to make their offense just make a lot more sense. And I understand his efficiency stuff from last season and all that. I know Jalen Green's going to get buckets. Udoka's going to demand that the movement of the ball on offense and the level of detail and intensity on defense, like all that's just going to be up there. Şengün can make any pass. Whitmore is going to attack the basket like a madman. Amen is going to also do that while also being one of the more fun passers in the league, I would guess. And of course, Amen's going to dunk on some guys. Like that is definitely happening. And then you got Jabari, who's, based on Summer League at least, feeling himself a little bit more, similar to Tari Eason. Like, I think the Rockets are in B. All right, now we go to Atlanta. So I think by the midway point of last season or so, the Hawks were in just like kind of C category, where it was like, man, it's a lot of Trey and DeJounte pick and roll and a lot of like floaters or pull-up twos from those guys. And the defense is like kind of just not hitting like that. Even if like between DeJounte and Clint, like there's good defenders in the team and all that. I do think the intrigue of Quinn Snyder and just can he bring a little extra variety to the offense, as well as potentially getting a little more creative defensively. Like I do think they still are like one defender away, but I don't know. It's just kind of C tier right now with the Hawks, with the caveat of I do think Quinn Snyder juicing it up and bringing more variety could bump them up. But as of right now, I'm in a sea of watchability state with Atlanta, which is kind of wild because I'm pretty sure last year I had him in A. Because, they made the DeJounte trade. It was very exciting. But, yeah, I just messed myself up here. What's going on? Knicks, go back here. The Hawks, go. I'm not making a demonstration again. The Sixers, they've just got this Harden thing floating over them. And that definitely puts a damper on everything. So, yeah. Look, obviously, Embiid and Maxey alone can push you pretty damn high up this sort of thing. But I don't know what's going to happen with Harden, man. Like, is he going to come back and it's going to be bad vibes? Are they going to trade him for something that Morey doesn't love? Are they going to get something that falls out of the sky that people are not really predicting right now? Like, I have no idea. T-Wolves. So I do think I had the T-Wolves in S tier last year because the Gobert trade just fascinated me so much. And I'm like, oh, I've got to see this. Well, then Cat missed a lot of the regular season. And even in the games he did play, he was recovering from being sick and losing a lot of weight. So I don't really feel like we got the true look at the Gobert Cat thing out of a little bit of a sample size here and there. Of course, Edwards is still very entertaining. Like, you got Jaden McDaniels as defense. Like, it feels like a B. It feels like a B with potential to be a little higher. And once again, I will just say, we didn't actually get that much time with the Gobert Cat stuff. Okay, now the Celtics. Admittingly, the Celtics are always a tough one for me because, like, obviously I'm a Celtics fan, so that's going to give them the bump. But I'm trying to envision if you're not a Celtics fan, and it's like, well, the Porzingis trade definitely has to throw some extra juice into it and just how it all looks. They lost Marcus's ball handling, passing, perimeter defense. They added Porzingis' size, rim protection, shooting, mismatch, beating ability, assuming that his post-up numbers maintain itself. Like, they definitely shook it up, right? So I don't know. I kind of feel like they're an A. Although if their offense dissolves into iso ball and clutch situations, that will definitely hurt their watchability. And then finally, the Blazers, who are probably the ultimate example of like, bro, I don't know. Like, Scoot himself has me thinking, do I put him in A? But then this whole Dame situation just has me all the way out of whack right now. And I guess you could put him in B. Like, Scoot is probably going to be just one of the most entertaining dudes in the league, kind of off rip.